Hey everyone, welcome back to I Heart Animation. I know I said in the last episode that I had a review with Rachel coming up, and that's still coming, but this past week and this next week are proving to be very busy, so I haven't had time to sit down and edit that one yet. In the meantime, I have a review of something that I thought I'd get up here while it was still semi-topical. I saw The Grinch the other night, and I had some thoughts. I originally wasn't planning on reviewing it at all. I have an idea for a future episode that compares all three versions of the story, and I figured I'd just talk about this one then. But after I saw it, there was just a few things that have been bugging me, some of which I haven't seen anyone else talking about, so I thought I'd just do a podcast style video so I can get my thoughts out there as quickly as possible, and maybe tide you over till I get a chance to edit my review with Rachel. I suppose before we get into things, I'll give you a slight spoiler warning, but the story was written in 1957, so I feel like that statute of limitations has run out. Anyway, the best thing about this movie was the Grinch himself. I do kind of wish that Benedict Cumberbatch had kept his original accent, but he is one of the few British actors who can pull off the American accent pretty much flawlessly, so I thought it was fine. I know the whole point of the Grinch is that he's supposed to be this nasty creature who despises happiness and Christmas and whatever, but for some reason, I just found him to be totally relatable. I don't know what that says about me, but I really liked him. I think part of the deal with that is that they had to go and give him a tragic backstory in order to make his hatred of Crispus understandable, which I guess is fine, and I didn't hate it, but I do think it was, like, slightly unnecessary. I realize in real life no one is ever just nasty for no reason. Yes, there are nasty people, but they pretty much always have reasons for why they are who they are. But for the Grinch, I like a good tragic villain as much as the next guy, but why does every fictional villain have to have some reason for their villainy? Especially in what is ostensibly a silly cartoon. Why can't the Grinch just be a Grinch because he's a Grinch? But anyway, much like the mid 2000s live action Grinch, this Grinch was also given a reason for his curmudgeonly attitude, and for whatever reason, I just related to his self imposed isolationism. I definitely don't take things as far as to isolate myself on the top of a mountain, sequestered away from the annoyances of humanity. But sometimes I just don't like being around people, and I liked that about the Grinch. Anyway, the Grinch and his relatable attitude was probably my favorite thing about the movie. That and what I'm like 99% sure was a cameo from Pentatonics as a swarm of carolers singing God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. That was probably my favorite scene of the movie. And if it was truly Pentatonics, it's definitely my favorite scene of the movie. Either way, it was a great scene and a great song, and I also loved the new version of the Grinch theme that they had in the movie. I know many people will argue that you can't touch the original, but I really enjoyed the version in this one, sung by rapper Tyler the Creator and what sounded like a children's choir. Yes, it contributed nothing to the plot and was basically just background music, but for what little screen time it got, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a great modern update to a classic song. Other than that, the rest of the movie was mostly just fine. Average, run of the mill fine. The animation looked great, of course. Nothing out of the ordinary for Illumination, they always do a great job. The Grinch's dog Max was cute. His annoying neighbor, voiced by Kenan Thompson, was amusing at times. Cindy Lou Who's mom was voiced by Rashida Jones, so I probably liked the character more than I would have otherwise. There was also an unexpected cameo from Angela Lansbury that I really enjoyed. Also, one of Cindy Lou's friends was voiced by Sam Lavanino, who I know as Catbug in Bravest Warriors and Baby Grizz on We Bare Bears. So while I found all the other kids annoying, more on that later, that one child I did love for the sole reason that Sam Lavanino was voicing him. He is like a treasure of a child, and he can do absolutely nothing wrong in my eyes, which is probably a very hypocritical statement coming from me, given what I am about to say about another character in the movie. The kids, unfortunately, are the biggest downside to this movie for me. Like I said, I really like the one voiced by Sam Lavanino, but only because he was voiced by Sam Lavanino. If anyone else had voiced him, I probably would have found him just as annoying. Aside from him, there was another kid who had a line about wanting to rob Santa that actually really made me laugh. But for the most part, the other kids were all just kind of annoying, and none of them talked like real kids. The worst offenders were Cindy Lou Who and her best friend, like Grandy. He had a really weird name, like Bassy, Rassy, something that sounded like a fish. I don't know. Okay, I've just consulted the almighty Wikipedia, and apparently his name was Groupert. Groopert. So I was close. Grouper. I don't know. Whatever. His name is so dumb it kept bothering me every time it was said in the film. And I know that's extremely petty of me, but like the kids were the worst part of the movie and I couldn't help it. And I know that makes me sound like an awful child-hating Grinch myself, but literally none of these kids were written in any way that made them sound like real kids, especially Cindy Lou Who herself. She just, when I was watching The Grinch, there was something about Cindy Lou Who that was just getting under my skin so much, and I could not put my finger on it. By all accounts, she should have been fine. I remember liking the character in the Jim Carrey version. She was sweet and kind, and the little girl who played her was adorable. So I don't know why this version annoyed me so much. I think the problem with her was that she was absolutely perfect. She was a flawless little angel who did absolutely nothing wrong and everyone loves her, which I think that is what got on my nerves. In one of the first scenes, she's telling her struggling single mother who is frantically trying to take care of her unruly twin toddlers that she has taken it upon herself to clean their room for her. And her mother looks at her with love and adoration and says, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." And I rolled my eyes so hard. Her entire plotline in this movie is that she wishes for Santa to help her mother be happy. that's that's like her entire driving force. She's so completely and utterly selfless. Which, I mean, I suppose there are kids like that, but this girl, she was just like next level perfect angel. I mean, this really should not bother me. I love selfless characters, but I think the fact that she's like 5 and is so beyond unrealistically perfect, I think that's just what was bothering me so much. I was talking to Rachel Wagner about this, and she pointed out that a lot of Christmas movies have characters like this, and they're supposed to be like overly sappy, and she pointed mainly to A Christmas Carol with Tiny Tim. And I think she does have a very valid point. It is very true. But I think if The Christmas Carol had made Tiny Tim as big a focus of the movie as Cindy Lou was made in this one, I probably would have hated Tiny Tim too. Anyway, Cindy Lou has like literally zero character growth. She starts out being a perfect little angel at home, and she stays that way until the very end when her perfect angelness ultimately saves the Grinch from himself. Blah. I know I sound like I'm passionately angry about this, but I'm really not. Cindy Lou was the worst and most annoying part of this movie, but in the end, she was just a mildly annoying little kid who was written extremely unrealistically. And I guess if that's the worst thing about this movie, they're probably doing okay. I guess my main problem is they should have been going for more than just okay. I don't mind mediocre movies, but I mean, I'd prefer to be touched by emotions other than occasional amusement and mild annoyance. Anyway, in the end, The Grinch is just a perfectly average movie. It's a completely inoffensive film that you can take your kids to, and they'll probably have a lot of fun. I just really don't expect it to become a new modern classic. Oh well, they can't all be amazing. We've got Wreck-It Ralph 2 coming up, and I think that movie will more than make up for the mild disappointment of this one. Anyway, I think that's going to be all for today's iHeart Animation. Next time, I will get to that review with Rachel, and we'll be talking about April and the Extraordinary World. We'll see you then.